So if you guys read today's title, you know that we're gonna be talking about Darkseid versus Superman and Supergirl. And before we even start anything, we gotta talk about this man Darkseid, because this man is a straight beast. Like every time he appears on screen, he's either one, aura farming, or two, just completely terrorizing the Justice League. Like it's low-key kind of a shock that the Justice League are even capable of handling Darkseid, because the amount of shit Darkseid does in the DC comics is straight up terrifying, bro. Like Darkseid deadass might be the King Von of the DC universe, cause this guy is a straight menace to society. Actually, not even society, the whole fucking universe, bro. Like if there was a competition between Darkseid and Thanos on who are more evil, then Darkseid is beating Thanos with little to no effort. And don't get me wrong, because Thanos has done some pretty fucked up shit in his lifetime, but compared to Darkseid, it's like child's play. Like Darkseid is really a demon. But anyways, let me stop glazing Darkseid and let's actually get into this video. So the story starts off when Superman is driving Supergirl to the Kent's farm, and once they get out of the car, the scenery isn't looking that half bad. But my ass should have known it was too good to be true, because the moment Superman tries to open the door, a big ass fist appears and just punches Superman through the door, sending Superman into a tractor. As Darkseid rip opens the door and he finally appears. And I'm not gonna lie, but the amount of property damage Darkseid does to Superman's house is crazy. Like I just know after the fight, Superman definitely called up Batman for the repairs, because let's be honest, Superman is not making that type of bread. Darkseid then smacks the shit out of Supergirl, sending her into a car, and then Darkseid explains the reason why he's here is to simply just pack up Superman. Like bro didn't even want to conquer the planet, he just wanted Superman gone. Like the generational beef between Darkseid and Superman has to be studied, because why in the world does Darkseid hate this man Superman so much? No, seriously though, can someone in the comment sections please explain to me why this man Darkseid just despises this man Superman so much? Like there has to be a deeper reason than him just hating Superman because he's good. Darkseid then starts using his Omega beams on Superman until Supergirl would then appear and then push Superman out the way, as she got hit instead. And to nobody's surprise, Supergirl gets completely laid out. And after Supergirl gets knocked out by the Omega beams, you'd think our boy Superman would finally lock in and start beating Darkseid's ass. But once Superman tries to charge at Darkseid, Darkseid just grabs Superman's neck and then lifts him up in the air. Like bro, I was really hyping Superman up just for him to get little bro'd. Like there's no way in hell that this is the same dude that can beat Goku's ass in a fight. Superman tries to laser down Darkseid, but Darkseid isn't having none of that and just grabs his head, which would eventually just blind Superman because of his heat vision. Darkseid would then uppercut Superman into the air and then would use his Omega beams to hit Superman and send him flying into space. Like Superman really got his ass handled in this scene, bro. While Darkseid is celebrating the fact that he just manhandled Superman, Supergirl wakes up and then kicks Darkseid into the house. And while Darkseid is getting up from the kick Supergirl gave him, Supergirl gets into her stance looking like she's ready to box Darkseid. Darkseid fires off his Omega beams, but Supergirl dodges and then uppercuts Darkseid out the house. And I'm just sitting here wondering, but how the hell is Supergirl doing better against Darkseid than Superman is? Like doesn't Superman have like 10 plus years of experience under his belt? How is Supergirl doing better than him, bro? And keep in mind, it's been like 3 months since Supergirl woke up from her coma, and she's already putting in more work than Supes. Like, come on, gang! Darkseid starts blasting away Supergirl, which led Supergirl to fall to the ground. And after Darkseid lasers Supergirl, Darkseid proceeds to take a quick page out of Robin's book and proceeds to stomp the absolute shit out of her. Like Darkseid deadass changed the whole fucking terrain with that single stomp. Supergirl tries to laser Darkseid, but that shit don't work, and Darkseid just grabs Supergirl's leg, slams her to the ground, and then kicks her away. Darkseid then uses his beams on her again, and as expected, she starts eating the ground. But it's okay, because once she got back up, she just told herself in her head,
okay, I understand it now.
And she actually uses her brain, because she flies up, and while Darkseid is using his Omega beams, she dodges all of his beams and then goes behind Darkseid to grab him and throw him into his own lasers. And I'm not gonna lie, but this move right here was low-key kind of smart as fuck. Like I even might have to give Supergirl a round of applause, because even Superman couldn't come up with that. But hey, I just realized something, because if Darkseid's Omega beams can destroy Superman's clothing, then how come it hasn't destroyed Supergirl's clothing yet? Like how is she not butt booty naked right now, bro? Supergirl then rushes at Darkseid and even starts piecing him up before then kicking him in the chin. And even though Supergirl's a Kryptonian, you might as well have assumed that she's a Viltrumite from the way she's beating down on Darkseid right now. Kara then slams Darkseid into the ground and she just keeps on comboing this man. Like she's dead ass pulling some Street Fighter ass combos on Darkseid, I'm not gonna lie. Supergirl then pushes Darkseid, which then leads Darkseid to fall on his back. And while Darkseid was on the ground, Supergirl then straight dive kicks this man right in the back. And after that, she continues on putting the beat down on Darkseid, after which Darkseid would then fall on his back again. And I guess after this, Darkseid really got tired of being a punching bag for Supergirl, so he gets back up, grabs Supergirl and slams her into the ground, and after which he would then hit her with a two-piece combo. Supergirl tries charging in, but Darkseid is not gonna let her get another hit in. Like he was trying to show her that there's levels to this shit. Darkseid would then kick Supergirl out the barn, and it looks like from here that Supergirl is officially tuckered out because she just lets herself get lasered down. And while Supergirl is getting cooked like a well done steak, we then cut to Superman just soaking in the sun while he's knocked out. And I guess since he's been near the sun for a good ass minute, he finally wakes up and then flies right back down to Earth. And when Superman finally lands back on Earth, he sees Supergirl laying on the ground unconscious. And when he tries to walk up to her to check if she's even still alive, this man Darkseid proceeds to grab on Superman's cape. And bro, out of all the decisions Darkseid could have made, pulling on Superman's cape had to be the dumbest one he could have done. Because Superman turns to Darkseid and hits Darkseid with the crazy haymaker. Like my boy Supes was not playing around with that cape. Superman then rushes at Darkseid before then diving into him and then forcing him out of the building. Like Superman was really showing Darkseid that he had that dog in him. Darkseid would then use his lasers on Superman, but Superman would go underneath the ground and then would start lifting the ground beneath Darkseid, that way he could crush him. But Darkseid isn't just gonna let some pebble stop him, so he lasers Superman and then breaks free. And it looks like from here, Superman just stops holding back and then just rushes at Darkseid and then just throws a barrage of attacks at him. Like I don't know if it was the sun or not, but bro was not moving like this at the start of the fight. Makes me wonder if Superman was holding back all the way at the start. Darkseid gets tired of getting comboed by Superman and he just grabs Supes and then just starts lasering him down. And why is Buddy smiling while he's basically melting down Superman's face? Like he is having way too much fun with this shit. While Supes is getting beamed down, his cousin wakes up from the beatdown that she received from Darkseid and then uses the mother box to open a portal. And once Superman saw the portal open, he then uses his heat vision on Darkseid and then kicks him away. And just before the portal can close, Superman tells Darkseid that if he ever comes back to planet Earth, then he's gonna make sure that he packs him up, as he then uses his heat vision to push Darkseid into the portal, as the fight then officially comes to a conclusion. Moral of the story, kids, don't pull on Superman's cape, because no matter if you're a space god or not, if you pull on Superman's cape, then you're gonna get your ass severely beat. Unless you're the Goku, then you can get away with that shit.